the Rio Grande, our weekly show about golf in the Sun Country section. So New Mexico, West Texas, El Paso, and maybe even into a little bit of Colorado. I'm your host, Jerome Espinosa. Alongside me is Dana Lehner from Sun Country PGA. So thanks again, Dana, for being here.
Love to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no sweat. We'll just get rolling as quickly as we can through these tournaments. And I'll go backwards again, starting with college, just because it's about to start being golf season, I guess.
Right.
So, New Mexico State women are actually in Wisconsin this week for a tournament. The New Mexico women are in Tucson.
Wisconsin seems odd that they would host something this early in the year. That sounds like a bit of a gamble to me. I'm guessing that's pretty cold. You'd think you'd see something here in New Mexico or Tucson as opposed to Wisconsin, but kudos to them if they can pull it off.
And I hope it's correct. I looked on their website, so
if not, it's their fault.
There you go. The New Mexico State men are in Tucson.
Okay.
So that's a little bit better place.
Yep.
The Lobos are off this week. Last week we talked about them a little bit, and they were in Hawaii. They finished tied ninth, so at 5 over, and that's as a team. When they do the team scores, I believe it's 5 golfers. You throw out the 5th score, you keep 4.
Right, 4 out of the 5. Yep.
So they finished tied ninth, so in the top 10 at +5 as a team.
Right.
Andre Garcia was their low individual at even par. So
yeah, and who knows in Hawaii, based on, it sounds like Hawaii sounds great, right? But I think we've all seen the Sony Open in January when it can be blowing 40, 50 miles an hour, and you get the trade winds coming in, and who knows about the caliber of the golf course. Sometimes that's a gamble. It's really hard for those coaches to recruit too, for these same reasons that you really never know about the golf course. You see the same courses every year on TV. And so you have an idea when you're watching the PGA Tour, the LPGA Tour, or Web.com, what kind of course they're playing. But for these golfers, you really don't have an idea because they're usually playing a university course somewhere, which, not that they won't be in great shape, but who knows how or what the level of difficulty they're playing is. So even could have been a phenomenal score, or it could have been maybe an anomaly for whatever reason they didn't go deep like they tend to do.
And I think he was, overall, I thought he was in around 37th, 39th. So, yeah, like you said, it blows like crazy out there sometimes too, so who knows. The LPGA, we talked about the Australian Open, and kind of one of our local celebrities that's on the LPGA, Jarena, did not play.
Right, Jarena Pillar.
So Ha Na Zhang won at 10 under. In Australia, I know they got a lot of Asian influence in the LPGA Tour.
Yeah,
so.
I saw her dance a little jig after she made a putt on the final hole, and she hit what seemed to be an amazing shot, kind of a tucked hole location on the front left of the green over a hazard, and it looked like she hit, I couldn't tell if it was a hybrid or if it was a fairway wood, but she smoked it with about 2 yards to clear. It was almost a 10 cup situation. Like It looked like, but she carried it, and then she had looked like about 10 feet, and she rolled it in and danced a little jig, and now she gets to cash like a $190,000 check. So,
and that helps them for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know this week they are off to Thailand.
Right.
And Jarena is in that field. I saw her name, I saw her tee time, so she is in that field.
Yeah.
And we'll look for her to see how she does.
Yeah, and kind of a good chance to sort of note what's different about the PGA Tour and the LPGA Tour is how they represent globally, right? The PGA Tour, rarely do you see them get outside the continental 48. Every once in a while you'll see a Hawaii or you'll see a Puerto Rico or something like that, but typically everything on the PGA Tour is within the United States borders, whereas the LPGA is much more a global brand based on the demographics of the player that play on their tour. There's such an influence of Asian golfers, specifically South Koreans, that play a lot on the LPGA Tour, so it makes sense for them to chase those sponsor dollars. They got to go all over the globe and play. And it's amazing, when we talked about before, those poor guys trying to make a living on the mini tours and the money that they have to spend. Well, imagine as an LPGA, I bet Jarena's dollars that she's spending on an annual basis to try and cover costs is unbelievable.
Oh, it has to be. Yeah. So, we wish her luck this week. On the web, Andrew Putnam wins in a playoff. Not a local. However, Tim Madigan that we've talked about previously gets 67th, which it's money.
Right.
On that tour, it's not great. I wanted to tell you, I think we have kind of a jinx working. We talked about Madigan. He WDs. We talked about Letzig last week, and he misses the cut.
He misses the cut. So apologies. It's not you. It's us. Right. It's the Seinfeld conversation. It's not you. It's me. I think for a guy like Tim and Michael Letzig as well, we've touched on it a little bit, but that's really what you have to do. I mean, most of the time you're not going to finish top 5 and cash a big check and go cruising in the next week, right? It really is about. It's almost like an NCAA tournament mentality. It's survive in advance.
Correct.
And so if you can make the cut consistently and kind of offset some of your travel costs, and then a handful of times throughout the season get lucky or just get in the zone for whatever reason that week and play, to a top 10, top 20 finish and make a little bit more money or even win.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you have to do. You just have to survive and advance and stick around long enough to get the ball to bounce the right way once or twice, and pretty soon you may have a title on your hands and making plans to move up a level.
There you go. And we'll look for them, as the year continues. Obviously, it's getting a lot more heated for us in the golf industry.
Right.
The last one, the PGA, they're at the Riviera, and Dustin Johnson just runs away with it.
It's just stupid, isn't it?
He's unbelievable.
It really is unfair. I think it was Jack Nicklaus that said about Tiger Woods, he plays a game with which I'm not familiar.
Yep.
I mean, Dustin Johnson, it's unreal. If he can keep it on the golf course and make a couple of putts, I don't think anybody can beat him. And so I got to think that as we start getting into the meat of their season, start looking ahead to the first major, which I know is now less than 100 days away. Well, gosh, even less than that. It's probably closer to like 50 days away at this point. He's got to be a favorite for everything.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be a big year, and it's exciting to see all these guys going. So as we'll keep you up to date on what we're doing tournament-wise. We'll be back in a couple minutes for our second segment.
Ladera Golf Course on Albuquerque's west side features spacious greens, 27 holes with outstanding practice facilities, and beautiful views of the Sandia Mountains, nestled at the foot of the volcanoes. Our 300-person banquet room and bridal suite is perfect for all occasions. Customize your room with color, chair covers, table linen, dinner, and champagne. Visit our cafe and bar with daily specials and happy hour, plus our full-service golf pro shop. For tee times and more information, call 505-836-4449.
Visit the Frontier Restaurant. Due to heavy construction on Central, take lead or coal coming north or south. The Frontier Restaurant. Get your Frontier fix on.
Altitude Sports Grill is where Albuquerque's sports fans won't miss a game. With locally crafted brews on tap and refreshingly crisp cocktails. Located in Hotel Cascada, Albuquerque residents find a staycation worth staying for. Catching Lobo sports, enjoying a beer on the beach, or wiping out, Hotel Cascada is home to your urban adventure. Affordable guest rooms, no-hassle water park parties, and much more.
Now there's an easier way to find deals at great New Mexico restaurants. DineNM.com. Just use your smartphone. Go to the site, download the app. No purchase or printer necessary. DineNM.com. The easiest way to save money when dining out.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us for Golfing Along the Rio Grande alongside Dana Lehner. Dana, I thought last week we talked some junior golf, but I really wanted to kind of grow it and talk a little bit more about some junior stuff that's really happening, because I don't think we got enough time to talk about last week.
Sure.
Kind of some junior stuff and give people opportunity. I know it seems early to people, but the PGA Junior League is underway, and sign-ups are underway, so I want parents to not come in May and then be locked out, because that happened last year quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything that when we deal with our parents, what we found is, the parents they're all making their decisions for next summer right now, right? They're laying out, whether it's Little League or musical lessons or whatever, all that stuff is happening as we speak. So, why not talk about golf too? Yeah,
and I mean, a program that I want to talk about that myself and another professional that works for us, Eric. We went out to golf in schools and kind of took some snag golf equipment, is what it's called, and I got a video to show kind of an example of what these kids are doing and how excited they were. And so we went on a Thursday and Friday from about, I believe, 9 to noon, and these kids are out at Corrales Elementary, and I got with the PE teacher actually reached out to me and asked me, hey, do you have any golf stuff? I said, sure. So we got to basically teach them full-on hitting,
right?
Long game, some putting. There was a lot of stuff that we got to do with the golf in schools, and the way that the equipment is set up, it's so perfect for teaching grip,
right,
stance,
right.
And their success rate is unbelievable to hit. I think every kid hit the ball. I can say that every single kid hit the ball when they were swinging.
Yeah, what's cool about that stuff is you can see right there the balls kind of at the back of his feet that, you know, they're not typical golf balls, right? They're kind of the mini sort of tennis balls.
Exactly.
And so they're a little bit easier to get airborne. You can see that he's kind of waggling the club there. It's a plastic club, bright and shiny, so the kids are somewhat attracted to it, and it's got a bigger club face. So then, you know, it makes it a little bit easier to hit. And snag, which means starting new at golf, that's the acronym for it, like you said, has built this program to make it really good or easy to introduce these kids to the game of golf. Whereas, so like on the grip, it's colored and logoed in a certain way so you put your hands in the right place, and they're standing inside the hoop there, so you know they've got the different spots on the hoop that tells them how far to do their backswing and
correct.
Follow through.
That little hoop there, actually, and you can't really see it on here, but the blue part is roll, the green part is, you know, they might call it chip,
right.
The yellow part they might call it pitch, and then the red is launch, so they can take a full swing. And you know what we did there is I took a bunch of different balls from the golf shop and those targets that are out there. If their ball stuck to the target because it's Velcro, they got to win a ball, and we started just a frenzy with, oh my gosh, how many balls can I mean, we had kids asking us if they could get 6, and we told them that once they hit their first target, they couldn't collect more because we took about 2.5 dozen and we're through them in a heartbeat. But yeah, this is a program that, you know, if anybody would like to do, I'm open and available. I know I had a second school call me this week. I have a third school waiting for me to get back with them about their schedule to go to their school and teach these kids golf.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about this too is, since there's only so many Jerome Espinosas in the world, what's neat about snag is it's not just easy to learn using that equipment. It's also easy to teach. So
very easy.
So if you don't have a PGA member available like yourself, you can just get certified as a PE coach or a volunteer or something like that, and it's really easy to get certified, and it's really easy to teach the game, which makes it great. And building on what you said, you know, if people are interested, they can go to our website, which is suncountryjuniortour.com, and then from there is a link to our foundation. And we have some programming there. We have some matching grants where we would help you financially get your own golf and schools program going at one of the local schools here in Albuquerque or throughout New Mexico and West Texas. So go to the website, check it out. There's you know, foundation grants for other things too, but specifically this, it's a great program, right?
Oh, it's awesome. I thought as a former teacher, it's really easy.
Right.
I thought it was wonderful. I mean, there's safety that there's already in. It's a great. Whoever did the snag knew what they were doing. They did a really good job.
Yeah. And
it helps kids. I mean, I'm using it kind of transition and hopefully get kids to go from hitting a tennis ball into our PGA Junior League.
Right.
That's really kind of my goal, is to get them interested in the game and then get them into the PGA Junior League, which the signups are ongoing.
Yeah, there's some different carrots there, but you know, when they're playing the snag, it's about sort of getting introduced and fun, and then when they get that competitive sort of juices flowing and they want to actually compete a little bit, then they can take that first step into PGA Junior League. It's not too big a step, so it's not really scary where you're competing with Tiger Woods or anything like that. You're just going to go out with people of kind of similar ability and have a good time. And Junior League is really cool in that it's, you know, it's going to pair you with other kids kids, like we said, of likability. We're going to get you in the jerseys and the uniforms, like we saw with Richie last week.
Yeah.
And then you get to go out and you get to rely on a partner, so it's not just all on
That's
you with
what I
all
love.
the pressure.
The scramble, I can tell you this from the experience with the PGA Junior League, the scramble portion of it was awesome. To watch kids, one kid, Dana, who's played a bunch, and me, who hasn't played a bunch, he smacks it down the fairway. I hit it dead to the right, and I get to pick my ball up and go play his. So
that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So it's awesome to watch kids who have never played get paired with a kid, and after the first couple holes, or the first shot, so to speak, they calm down, and then it just becomes a great partnership where I have kids say, I'm playing with him next week. Can you put me with them next week? So it's a good program.
It almost becomes like a mentoring program, right? Where you can,
completely.
So when you play in your 2-man teams inside your 10-man team, and you're playing a 2-man scramble against another team of 2 from the other team, we've had some captains here locally that will specifically pair, since this is for kids ages 7 to 13, they'll specifically put a 7-year-old with a 13-year-old.
Yes.
That way the 13-year-old can help the 7-year-old adapt to the world of golf, and it becomes kind of a mentoring process.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like I said, you don't need any experience. Go to pgajlg.com, and it'll give you a course where you can look up a course near you, or whoever, maybe you like a certain coach. So if you go to that website and check it out, and if you're interested in doing golf in schools, just shoot me an email, and we can get that done. And thanks for joining us. We'll be back for our teaching segment.
Ladera Golf Course on Albuquerque's west side features spacious greens, 27 holes with outstanding practice facilities, and beautiful views of the Sandia Mountains. Nestled at the foot of the volcanoes, our 300-person banquet room and bridal suite is perfect for all occasions. Customize your room with color, chair covers, table linen, dinner, and champagne. Visit our cafe and bar with daily specials and happy hour, plus our full-service golf pro shop. For tee times and more information, call 505-836-4449.
Visit the Frontier Restaurant. Due to heavy construction on Central, take lead or coal coming north or south. The Frontier Restaurant. Get your Frontier fix on.
Altitude Sports Grill is where Albuquerque's sports fans won't miss a game. With locally crafted brews on tap and refreshingly crisp cocktails. Located in Hotel Cascada, Albuquerque residents find a staycation worth staying for. Catching Lobo sports, enjoying a beer on the beach, or wiping out, Hotel Cascada is home to your urban adventure. Affordable guest rooms, no-hassle water park parties, and much more.
Now there's an easier way to find deals at great New Mexico restaurants. DineNM.com. Just use your smartphone, go to the site, download the app. No purchase or printer necessary. DineNM.com. The easiest way to save money when dining out.
Welcome back to Golfing Along the Rio Grande in our teaching segment. And Dana, I wanted to start throwing in a teaching segment so we can talk about some things that are happening or how to help people. The guy that we were supposed to help, Adam Deal from ProView, left for lunch, so we came up with a little bit different topic to talk about.
We're good at winging it.
Yeah, there you go. And actually, what I'm holding, and Dana has one as well, and we have a set of them, is a new club called Epic, EPEC. This is the first time I've seen them. But these things are really awesome for juniors, just like we were talking about in the last segment about junior golf.
Right.
I really like the way this set is designed. It feels good. I would love to have a kid hit it and see, like Richie from last week, see what it feels like. But the deal with these clubs, can you let us know about these clubs real quick?
Yeah, so what's cool about this is people, one of their fears of golf, especially getting their children involved, is it's expensive, right? And so this helps deter from that. I would argue it's not necessarily expensive in the first place, but that's probably a conversation for another day. So if you're afraid of that, this kind of concept will be really good for you. What's cool about it is that typically if you buy a set of clubs for your 7-year-old, then they grow like a weed, and a year later you're buying another set and another set and another set until they get to 18, where they get locked into however they are, and you can spend tens of thousands of dollars doing that, getting a new set of clubs every year. So what's cool about this is you buy one set of clubs basically for their entire childhood, and so when you get this set, what you'll do is you'll reach out to your local PGA professional who would have access to something like this, and if it's new to them, because it is brand new to the market, if for some reason you're unloading something on them that they're not ready for, all they can do is hop online and get all the information they need to do. So, but what's cool about it is basically you buy this first set, and it's your typical junior set. It's kind of like a 3, 5, 7, 9, and a couple of woods and a putter, and then they will actually have this set for eternity, or not for eternity, but at least their childhood. So what they do is once they get to the point when they're growing and they would normally be ready for a new set, you would mail these back in to EPEC or Epic, and they will then reshaft the club and mess around with kind of some of the adjustable weights here and ship them back to you, and you basically have a new set of clubs.
Yeah, and I think it's like, from what I saw in my experience with it, it's like $15 a club to get it reshafted when your kid grows out of it. Yeah. And I mean, I have 3 kids, so for me it would be great. Yeah. Because you could just keep sending them back. And
I think what I learned was, typically, so if you're going to go buy them another new set, that could be anywhere from like $200 to $800, depending on what you're going to get them. You can really get these reshafted and shipped out and back to you for somewhere around $60, which is an amazing deal, right? And so that in itself, over the childhood of your particular child, would save you thousands of dollars
easily. And I mean, I've started at our club, and I'm waiting for my sets to come in so we can try these out. But I think it's a great idea for kids. And I just wanted to also talk about just maybe transition into, I know the big thing is TrackMan now. Yeah. So, you see all the guys, in case you don't know what TrackMan is basically like a laser system that picks up the ball. I think it was invented by some gentlemen that were in the military, and it was a ballistic thing. And now what you see on tour at every single event is these guys hitting from here, and they got a machine that sits about 10 feet behind them, and it's called the TrackMan. Right. And it's the big thing. I mean, they're $25,000, but every single one of these guys carries them. Right. I know from working with TrackMan, the previous model that I had or had worked with didn't have putting. Now they have TrackMan on the putting green. So I've seen people with TrackMan in the bunkers. Right. So these guys on tour are carrying TrackMan. That's almost their coach. And so tell me what's the kind of the advantage of using TrackMan, what I would get out of it. Well, and the joke on tour, from what I've heard, is that how many majors did Tiger have before TrackMan? 14. Right. After TrackMan, none. Right. So I think it's really, really dependent on the golfer. Yeah. Especially on tour, is some guys want to know all those numbers. Yeah. Because I can tell you right now, working with TrackMan, when you bring it up on the iPad, you could have, 10 readouts or numbers of what your golf club is doing. That's what it's picking up, and what the ball is doing. Right. And it's spot on. You really have to be kind of a golf nerd. You do. I think the important thing coming from a teacher is, for me, the thing when I was doing TrackMan and have used TrackMan is I thought, how in the heck do I get Dana to not pay attention to the number? How am I going to teach him to change one of these numbers? Yeah. Because as a teacher, that's what you're trying to do, is get the number, I guess, perfect face and path and spin axis. All this stuff is 0, is like perfect, but it's really what a lot of guys on tour do is try and get it to a consistent ball flight, and they'll settle with those numbers. Right. But like I said, those numbers can get overwhelming, and they can be really crazy. So one of the numbers that I wanted to go over is, it's called spin axis. And to me, it's probably one of the more important numbers. And I normally have like a spin axis thing to make it really, really clear. But spin axis is going to tell you if it's a slice or a hook.
Right.
That's what it does. And I'll use a Frisbee to explain spin axis, but if the ball is flying like this, it's hit and TrackMan picks up a spin axis of positive. This is going to be a positive spin axis. If I threw this Frisbee like this, which way would you guess it's going to fly?
Right,
it's going that way. Now, if I throw the Frisbee like this, it's going to get a spin axis of negative,
right,
which is a draw hook. So the goal is to get a spin axis of 0.
Right.
Which, when you put a golf club in your hand, it's easy for me to explain that to you.
Right.
But normally a spin axis is going to be an open face if I'm hitting a cut.
Right.
So, and who knows, it could be an open face, or I could be coming from here and creating that positive spin axis, so to speak.
Right.
If I'm hitting it like this, I'm going to get that negative spin axis. You know, most of the time it's from the inside and they flip the hands to get that face to shut.
Right.
But that's one of the numbers on TrackMan is spin axis. That I really pay attention to spin axis.
Yeah, and it's, you know, there's a lot of analytics there. You know, when you're using words like trajectory and axis and those types of things. So, you know, when you're shopping for a teacher and they have this option, give it a try, and maybe it's for you.
Yeah,
and maybe it's not.
It's really cool to see if your teacher uses it. I think you got to be really clear about either I don't care,
right,
I don't want to know that number, or yeah, I do want to know it. So, because it can work both ways. I mean, it can be really helpful, or you can get so obsessed with the numbers that you're not playing golf anymore.
Yeah, well, the thought process is if you're a person who's played a little bit and you get access to let's say you don't have a teacher, but you can use a TrackMan for whatever reason, then it just kind of helps you, show you, it's another set of eyes, and it's an electronic set of eyes that kind of show you, based on if you're trying to get your numbers dialed into each category and you know where you're off, you probably have a better idea of what you're doing wrong, and you can focus on that if you don't have a teacher there to help you with that.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they're not super affordable, so I would love to have one personally to teach with, but you know, if there's any questions about TrackMan or TrackMan numbers, I will do my absolute best to help anybody out there. Kind of interpret if you were told something and you're like, I don't know what this means.
Right.
We can help you figure it out. But that's just one of the things that is on TrackMan. And, you know, Dana, thanks for being here again for our show. And
appreciate it.
It's been fun. And like I said, I'll repeat it again. If we have any questions or any tips that you would like, don't be afraid to shoot. You know, you can shoot Adam an email at ProView, or shoot me a personal email, and we'll try to get it worked out here. But until next week, thanks for joining us, and have a good weekend.